Hey, it's James from Marketing for Restaurants here, and welcome to episode 150 of Secret Sauce, the restaurant marketing podcast, the future of restaurant online ordering systems.
Some restaurants are quiet, lose money, and the owner works 70 hours a week. Other restaurants are busy, profitable, and the owners work a few hours a day. What's the difference? They have a secret sauce. Join James from Marketing for Restaurants as he helps you come up with your recipe for restaurant success. Your secret sauce.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. A big thank you to all of our loyal listeners. We are now up to episode 150. I would have lost interest if it wasn't for all of the relationships that we've been able to build all around the world from people who have just been listening to the podcast and, been able to get value out of it. I'm really, really thankful for all of our loyal listeners. If you are getting anything out of Secret Sauce, please let a fellow restaurant owner know. It's word of mouth referrals. They're so important, and it's just the same for us. I always like to ask our customers who are listening to it, where did you find out about it? Sometimes it's from Facebook. Often, though, it'll be like the restaurant up the road listens to it and he said, you got to listen to this guy. So, yes, if you could, that would be great. We really do appreciate those referrals for Secret Sauce. Today is going to be an exciting episode. We're going to talk about the future of restaurant online ordering systems, in particular, our restaurant online ordering system. So many of you will know, in fact, some of you will be customers of Frollo, the free restaurant online ordering system. This was something that we developed quite a while ago now, and we did it literally as lead generation, just as a way that we could introduce people to marketing for restaurants and then, be able to help them save some money. And I like to be able to help people save money. And then we say, okay, how about we start looking at ways that we can increase your online orders. Let's look at potentially an upgrade to the website. Let's look at some SEO plus, some Facebook, all of those sort of exciting things, which are our bread and butter. Last year was a year like no other. Literally, I think the toughest year in the last 100 years since 1919, which was the last time that we had a significant pandemic with the Spanish flu. Last year saw us increase the revenue of orders coming through Orders Ninja. Literally, we 10x'd. So we had probably about 8 times as many customers jump onto the platform in quite a short period of time. And we had a huge increase in the amount of orders that were going through individual accounts. Absolutely phenomenal. And we're now at the point where we have done millions of dollars worth of transactions on behalf of restaurants. And every single one of those transactions was done at zero cost. No fee, no commission, no monthly fee, nothing like that, which is great for restaurants. The fact that we've been able to put back hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, really, when you think about it, probably millions of dollars back into the restaurant industry, particularly at such a desperate time for so many restaurants. And we've received lots of, emails from people saying, this is amazing. It's really helped us keep the doors open on what has been, our lifelong business. Our restaurant is our life's passion. So we're really proud of what we've been able to do there. But it has placed a not insignificant amount of strain on the company. And it's done that for 3 reasons. One, there's an onboarding process that we go to. Got to help the restaurant set up the Stripe account, link that, enter the menus. And we do that for the restaurants, mostly. We were happy to do that because we were using it as lead gen. Secondly, the support tail has really quite blown out. And it's interesting. It's not 100% bulletproof, but it's quite bulletproof. The issue that we're finding now is that 90% of our support work comes from probably 5% of customers, up to and including one restaurant who twice a week was creating support tickets because dockets weren't printing out. So we print to the Epsom TM82i. There's a really big note there. It prints out to the Epsom TM82i. He didn't have one of those. He had something else. Didn't tell us that. Lots of grief. which is really incredibly frustrating. And part of the reason why we're making this decision. And thirdly, Frollo has had one really big issue in market uptake, and that is people just can't believe that we would give it away free. So it was lead gen for us. A good number of customers converted to our paid products, our awesome websites, or our SEO Plus product, which is really kicking some goals now, particularly in the SEO space with some of the work that we're doing, where we're actually now starting to take traffic and customers from the competitors for each of our SEO Plus customers. It's a really cool tool. We're actually going to start, I'll do a podcast about that in and of itself, because it is an amazing capability that we've developed there, really starting to get strong traction for our customers. I spoke to a lot of restaurant owners about it, and one thing that really sticks in my mind, one restaurant who said, I cannot believe that every restaurant in Australia is not using this. And he said it's probably because they think it's too good to be true. You should start charging for it. And this got the wheels turning. So we had three issues. Restaurants weren't using Frollo because they thought that there had to be some hidden charge and they couldn't work out what the hidden charge was, so that they didn't use it. Two, a lot of work in onboarding all of these customers as there was the huge ramp up over the pandemic. And three, a support tail for just a very narrow number of customers, which was meaning that we were supporting a free product and that was taking us away from actually looking after our paying amazing customers. So there's something wrong with that. The straw that broke the camel's back, though, was about 3 weeks ago. I had heard a bit of word of mouth. I'm always on the lookout for a restaurant that is undervalued. You know, the one that probably doesn't do a great job of telling their own story, but has an amazing story and has amazing food. And I went there. I did a Google search. I found them, and I looked at the website, and the website was extremely bland. And I recognized it as a competing online ordering system. And I always thought that these guys were pretty good. They had a for fee kind of arrangement, which is fine. You know, that's not really our kind of thing yet, and we'll get to that in a minute. And the thing that struck me, though, was that they were using many of the tricks that the big boys use. So there was no phone number there. Not only that, there was no mention whatsoever of dine-in. Now, normally, I'm the kind of guy who would say, well, you know, we'll just go and check it out. A little bit more risky when I'm taking the family, because then they go, oh, God. But I would have thought, hey, on a Saturday night, the biggest issue that we'll have is not being able to get a table there. But we are living in the times of COVID, and, you know, you need to be a little bit more careful. Maybe they're not doing dine-in. It would be really good just to get a positive confirmation that we can go there and get a table of 4 tonight. So I hit them up on Facebook. Hey, are you guys open for dine-in? I didn't hear anything back. Now, so we went with plan B. We went to another place, which was Epic, and I mentioned them in last week's episode because they had a really cool little hack around revenue per available seat hour. So that customer missed out, and they missed out entirely because of the fact that their website did not mention the fact that they do dine-in. And it made me have a look. So I had a little bit of a look into our competitor. I thought they were charging about 5%, which, you know, is probably about fair. It turns out they're charging 10%. They're producing these websites which are incredibly bland. So it does nothing for the restaurant. The only person who would go there is someone who has heard word of mouth. None of the people, from an SEO point of view, very poor, I think. And also, there's no phone number, so you can't contact them. You can't organise dine-in. Now, we've got Forbes, the free online restaurant booking system. It's one of our unloved products, but we've got a wall of data, we call it, and I was actually looking at it, and I said to one of the developers, it's really quite amazing because no one cares about this. It just, the huge number of bookings that we do every month for restaurants around the world, it is, you know, for something that is pretty much set and forget, very few support, and it's something that, you know, we just really don't pay much attention to. They could have been doing the same sort of thing, but no, they leave it. It is literally just an online ordering platform. And that, to me, I got angry at because I could have gone to that restaurant, potentially. I still haven't heard back if they're open for dine-in. But we could have gone there. We could have had a great experience. That restaurant, now, I don't know, they might have a queue out the door, which is fantastic. I suspect probably not, because there's no real mechanism for them to be able to tell their story. And that, in this day and age, when everything is hyper-competitive, is extremely bad news for a restaurant. So we've got Frollo, which we honestly have not made 1 single cent out of. I think we've charged a few customers for setup, but we don't do too many of them. But realistically, nothing. And we've got a dev team that's working on, 'cause this is the one thing that I think is really interesting. When you look at online ordering, it's really quite archaic. I'll put my hands up. Frollo, I've always described it as being cheap and cheerful. It doesn't do some things that people want. I'll tell you what it does do, though. It captures the customer's contact details and it runs a loyalty program, which we have seen customers use time and time again, or restaurants use time and time again, to really, really make their customers super sticky, which, compare and contrast to Uber Eats, any of your competitors can say, I'm going to pay more commission. I want you to give me a lot more orders, and all of your Uber Eats orders will go out the door. So, if you're not getting the customer contact details, then they're not really your customer. Our dev team has been quietly working away in the background on a concept that we call Orders Ninja, a commission-based, which is I like because it's win-win. If we see someone who's got real potential, we can actually, off our own bat, spend some time, spend some effort to get them more customers, to get more orders, and that means that we'll make more money and the restaurant is going to make a heap more money. And so that's where our focus has been probably for the last, I would say, 6 months. And, it's looking pretty sweet now. And there's a couple of things with this. What do we do with Frollo? So by the time you're listening to this, Frollo will be no more. We're not sure if we're not going to turn it off because we've made a commitment to our customers that Frollo would be free forever. So Frollo's still going to be around in the short term, at least, and I'm thinking at least probably a couple of years for the people who've signed up on it. We'll have sent an email out to everyone who was interested at some stage that, it's last drinks for Frollo and you need to get on it. But pretty much by the time you're listening to this, it will be unavailable. Now, not sure whether we're going to never take another Frollo customer again or whether we'll reintroduce it once we've released Orders Ninja. We always plan to, but I'm not too sure if we will. So what we're planning on doing is potentially taking a waiting list for if we turn it back on again. And that works well with us because it means that when we've got spare capacity in the provisioning and support team, they might, flick a few more Frollos on. Frollo is going to get replaced with Restolo. Exact same product, cheap and cheerful, does what you need it to do. It's the same system that restaurant owners around the world have used to take millions of dollars worth of orders. We're going to bundle it up with a couple of things. So a bit of support over the weekend, which is one thing that a small subsection of our Frollo customers really wanted. And it was like, well, how can we support something when it's free? So that doesn't compute. So that's the first thing. And on top of that, we're going to bundle it with a website. But you know what? Yes, it will be a templated website, but it's not going to be one of these crappy ones that A, looks awful and denies a restaurant the ability to tell their story. You've got to tell your story. You've got to stand out. You've got to be authentic, unique, all of those sort of things. We're going to make sure that there's photos there. We're going to make sure that the About Us appears there so that you can actually have something there that people can read and go, oh, that sounds cool. Why don't we go there? It'll have the time that you are open for dine-in because I think that's really important. It will also, and this is going to make us very different to almost all of the online ordering systems that are out there, it will have your phone number on it. And that is because, let's go back a step. Most people don't put the phone number on there because there's no way of tracking an order that comes in from the website when someone clicks on the phone number and calls you from their mobile. There's no way of working out that. And if there's no way of working it out, then there's no way of charging you commission on it. So for most online ordering systems, they're cutting their own throats by allowing customers to ring up and place an order on the phone. Now, you and I, and look, straight up, someone calling you as opposed to doing an order online, that's crazy bananas. You've got someone there sitting on the phone all the time. You've got someone there trying to take down the orders. Do they speak English well? Does the customer speak English well? Is it just going to be a bad line? Are they going to make a mistake? All of those sort of issues. It's quite an expensive and risky proposition when you've got someone being the order taker. There's no transaction, there's no payment being done because you can't send your credit card down a phone call. So not a great way of doing it. But I know that a lot of restaurants like to do it. Now, and some of it is just because of the Uber effect. So they will say, please call us and place your order. They're not going to get the customer contact details. Well, they never got that anyway. And they're not going to, they've got to go and answer the phone and take that order down. So it's a little bit clunky, but they do it because they can save on the commission from Uber Eats. For us, for me, and one other thing, you've got to remember that some people are not comfortable in doing an online order. We know that. And restaurants, a lot of restaurants have got customers who would prefer, can I please ring up and place an order? Our local fish and chip shop, which we eat quite a few, we've had fish and chips from quite a few times. It's often hard to get through to them because they've got so many people who are calling them. Crazy, absolutely crazy. But from my point of view, my whole thing is our BHAG, our big, hairy, audacious goal is to make a meaningful difference in people's lives. And in marketing for restaurants, we do that by enabling people to run the kind of restaurant that they always wanted. And you know what? If there's going to be a couple of phone calls and we don't get commission on it, I'm not going to lose any sleep over that. I would eminently want an order to come into a restaurant that we will make no commission on, then not have that order come through. And anyone who doesn't put the phone number on the website that they're building, they are that person. Oh, no. If they have to do it over the phone, they can order from someone else. That's crazy. Absolutely criminal, particularly in this day and age of COVID or post-COVID recovery. Now, we did something interesting. We had a big discussion within the team and we said, we've got a few people who want support for a product that's not supported and that for many restaurants is bulletproof, but they want that support. We've got a lot of support work for a product that is free, particularly around onboarding, and the take-up rate for it is lower than it would be if we charged. So maybe we should just get rid of it and put in a commission-based process at a commission rate that is, kind of acceptable to restaurants. So, you know how I'm always talking about, put something up on your specials menu? That is the way that you can be agile and innovate in your business. We did the exact same thing. We have not released this to the public. We didn't do any Facebook advertising. All we did is we got some of our team on the phones. Hey, would you be interested in 5% plus payment gateway fees? We'll include a website. It'll be template driven, but it'll have your phone number in there. You'll get a list of your customers and there'll be a bit of support after hours and hooly dooly. I was actually quite surprised. A lot of people are really interested because even with 10% commission, I think that's really tough, or 10% plus payment gateways. We're talking about one of the least profitable industries in the world, and we're talking about the worst time in the last 100 years for this industry. So 10% is 10%. And if you're doing decent volume, if you can move that from 10 to 5%, hey, that's a really big increase. And from my point of view, I think it's going to be a real winner because of the fact that there'll be a little bit of SEO in there. There'll be a little bit of a story in there. The website will actually work to convert customers rather than the other way around. Marry that up with order, direct and save. Marry that up with, potentially pick up only. And I think we're really onto a winner. And the initial marketing response, boom. So we're super excited about it. That is not the end of the story though. There are some people who come at the online ordering point of view from a graphics design point of view, I would say. They want to make it look beautiful. There are some people who come at it from a marketing point of view. There are some people who come at it from a developer point of view. To be honest, most of them are written by developers, pretty much for developers. It's not really designed for anyone in the kitchen running a business. So our dev team, pretty much for the last 6 months, has been taking the concept of what we built as a lead generation tool and turning it into It's a cheap and cheerful e-commerce platform that has done millions and millions of dollars worth of transactions. What we want to do is evolve that into online ordering 2.0. So make it look beautiful. I've always said that your menu should be one of your strongest salespeople. In most of these online ordering solutions, it's a pretty weak salesperson. So we want to be able to make it sell. We want to include the marketing features that we like to use for our customers. And we want to be able to have it at a price point that is really, really competitive, because of the fact that we know that every percent that you save is, hopefully a little bit more profit in your business. Maybe it's a little bit less unprofitable. Hopefully it's not that case. Things like our loyalty program, which is built into Frollo, that's definitely going to come across. There's a whole heap of other things in there. If you've listened to the previous 149 episodes, there are little hints of what we're going to be putting into Orders Ninja, because I think now is the time to really evolve online ordering into the next iteration of it. A whole lot smarter, a whole lot cleverer, and a whole lot more focused on the profitability of your restaurant. And there's so many things that we can do here. It's going to be super fun. We're really excited about it. So stay tuned. The big thing is, if you're interested in being a part of this, we're probably going to put together some sort of focus group, maybe a Facebook group, just of restaurant owners, so that we can, at the end of the day, we're building this for you, and the more money that you make out of it, and the easier it is for you to use, the better everyone is going to be. So we're keen to reach out to get everyone's inputs. What are the features that you want? What's really important? And trust me, we've dealing with lots of restaurants around the world. Everyone's got that one thing that they think is absolutely critical. Our roadmap's pretty big. The key thing that we want to do is to prioritize the features so that every feature that we put in is going to do what it needs to do for the biggest bunch of people to get them on board. Because the difference between someone who is selling, and the way I explain it is, if you're doing Uber Eats at 35%, the critical thing is to put your prices up by 35%, and then offer a 25% discount for people who order direct. And you can do that with pickup. I've seen that work with pickup. You can use Uber Eats and the price is $100, or if you come and pick it up, it's $80. So many people there will come and pick it up. And that can be really exciting for you, because of the fact that A, you're getting the customer details, B, you may be selling it a little bit more than you're selling it inside the restaurant. I've seen that work and be really, really quite popular, but you're retaining so much more profit. And for those that don't want to come and pick it up, that's fine. You've still got Uber Eats. So yeah, that's our Brave story. That's where we think the future of restaurant online ordering systems is going to go. We're building this from a really strong base of what we know people need and what they want. There is quite a bit of flexibility in there. We're toying with ideas about bundling in marketing services, looking at web upgrades, all sorts of things, sort of like a high flyer program. For those who are doing the decent amounts of revenue, it kind of makes sense for us to put some marketing muscle behind it, because of the fact that if we're getting paid by commission, then, we're going to be getting paid more commission. The other thing that we're thinking about, which I think is cutting edge, not sure if we're going to do it yet, but it's one of the things that's definitely on the table, is a decrease in commission. So if you do up to this amount, it's going to be X. And if you do a bit more than that, then it'll be a bit less than X. And if you do a lot more, then it'll be a lot more less than X. So, it might be a sliding scale where the commission just gets lower and lower and lower, because we're here to look after 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 restaurants. We're not here to make, a large amount of money out of, some decent volume restaurants. We know that post-COVID, price is going to become a really big issue for a lot of consumers, just because of the fact that the economic impact around the world has been so profound. At the moment, and talking to restaurants, at the moment, there's lots of people with cash to splash. And so, they've been locked up. They haven't been able to go out. They haven't been able to go on an international holiday or anything like that. So that means that there's people with some extra money. There's a lot of people who've lost their jobs. As the economy rebuilds, price is going to become really important. And we think that this is where the big opportunity is going to be able to have those potentially loss-leading items that you can market and people will go, yep, that's so much cheaper. I'm going to try these guys out. Deliver some amazing food, and you've just won yourself a regular customer. And, when we trawl through the data, it's amazing the number of customers who spend $5,000. And for delivery or pickup, there are a lot of restaurants who struggle to have $5,000 dining customers, but there's a lot in takeout that are getting those really heavy-hitting, high-volume customers. So it's pretty exciting. It's an exciting space to be working in. And look, we just love getting all the feedback that we do about how our solutions, our systems have been helping people to build the kind of restaurant business that they've always wanted. That's about it. Stay tuned. Next episode, we will probably look at some authentic marketing that went viral. I think that's going to be really interesting. That's it. Stay safe, stay profitable. Bye.
Want more customers for your restaurant, cafe, or takeout? Every month, our marketing tools and information are used by thousands of restaurant owners just like you to help them find more customers and turn them into repeat customers. All of our tools and information is designed specifically for restaurant owners. We know you don't have a lot of time to spend marketing or learning complicated procedures, so our tools are quick and easy to use. If you're looking to increase your revenue and profits or want to work less hours, check out marketingforrestaurants.com.